Ms. Rubio, and then Ms. Gonzalez, in that order.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do want to thank all of our presenters. This is wonderful. I appreciate the recognition that this isn't a quick fix. And so with our chair putting together not just one hearing, but a number of hearings that will progressively talk about the issues, identifying them, and then trying to figure out how we address them. Ms. Faison, I appreciate your comment that the community that is most impacted should lead the discussion. My question to you, if you are still with us, is how do you see that specifically happening? At what point do you see that happening?
She's coming to the microphone now. Yes, you may proceed. No, I think he's going to adjust your microphone, and we'll try to see if that works. Yes, it's on. Make sure you get close. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So the question is specifically how, you asked how do I envision community oversight and community leading and the most impacted leading. I think that we need input from the community. We need spaces where community can give suggestions. We need the people that are the most impacted to tell you their experiences so that our legislators can make decisions that are based on those experiences. I work with a lot of people in community, and there's a lot of commonalities in our communities, in communities of color. And as long as those things continue to happen, then those things need to be addressed. And if we're not hearing how, a 13-year-old boy has been pulled over twice and had guns drawn on him by police when he hasn't been doing anything wrong, if you're not hearing these stories, then you don't know they're happening. And the examples that I gave earlier, I saw the expressions of some of the folks in here when they heard, the examples of what's happened while we've been doing activist work in the streets. And they were surprised to even hear that a 13-year-old boy got shot with a rubber bullet while at a protest by a police officer. So I think basically it all boils down to listening to the community and their experiences, and then creating legislation around those experiences and seeing the commonalities in all of these experiences. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and while you're there, one other question, a follow-up. You also talked about this relationship between between law enforcement, especially police chiefs and sheriffs, and our electeds. Do you see a particular way to, whether through legislation or through rules promulgated at the county or the city level, that would assist in separating these relationships between law enforcement, chiefs and sheriffs, and electeds?
So I am not an expert on legislation. So I think that it would be great for legislators to get creative in that area. I just wanted to make sure to mention that these are really big obstacles in community right now. And I can only speak to Sacramento in particular. Our sheriff has a very strong and tight relationship with our district attorney. And as a result, our district attorney's record has never served the people. Also, our police chief and our mayor and our city manager, they all have a very good relationship with each other. We often see the city manager intermingling with different police officers, while he's out doing his work. And, there are casual conversations. I've seen our council members have backdoor, come out of a room with our the Sacramento Police Officers Association. I want to say his title is executive director. His name is Tim Davis. I've seen them come out of rooms patting each other's backs. And I think all of that is problematic because they're building relationships with each other, and as a result, they're beholden to each other, and they're not building relationships with community and finding out what's happening to community. I just think it's really important to keep all of that in mind while making legislation, but I wouldn't know how to tell you what that legislation, how a reform could be made through legislation to make sure that the checks and balances are actually effective.
Thank you. A wise friend once told me that it isn't just the impropriety, but the appearance of an impropriety that we have to be concerned with. Thank you so much.